Natalie.
And I'm Caitlin. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. On today's episode, we talk about running safety. Hannah and Natalie spill all their tips and tricks to stay safe while running outside. So lace up your shoes and step into the magic with us. Like full on sedated for his nails. That's a really interesting way to start out the podcast.
That's kind of how I feel when they like try to give me a pedicure, and not like the pedicure part, but when they have to like scrape at my feet that have like thousands of or hundreds of miles of calluses on them. They should sedate me. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
My first manicure was my wedding.
Your first ever in your whole life?
Like at an actual nail salon, yeah. I had never been to a nail salon. So they were like, what do you want? I was like, I literally don't know. I've never, like, what are my options? They were like, you get to pick anything you want. And I was like, but what am I choosing from? Like, explain to me the process. How does this work? So, and then there was like a lady sitting next to me and she was like, just do what you did for me on her. And I was like, okay, her nails look nice. So sure. Mm-hmm. I didn't even tell him it was for my wedding because I was like, you guys are going to upcharge me for something if I do. So I just was like, I'm going to an event on a Saturday. And they were like, on a Saturday? And I was like, yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to a wedding this weekend and I kind of wanted to get a manicure and a pedicure, but there's no time. So it's not my wedding and I'm not in it. So I don't really care.
It'll be all right.
It's fine. We're just going to have a good time.
Yeah. Did you have to adjust your training in any way in order to accommodate these weekend plans?
Oh, well, actually, Austin has been really supportive of the training suddenly. This past week, he was like, you got to go out there. You got to go run. And so every night this week, we have gone on a walk, which is crazy. So, but like, I'll go jog ahead a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we've done how many nights in a row? And then today, when I was nannying, I took the kids for a walk. It was their suggestion. They wanted to go walk up to the park and go run around. And we played some like Floor is Lava game. It was very wholesome. And then we walked back home. So, so it's just walking with the occasional like jog, I guess. But every day we're out there. And last night we were doing 17-minute miles. I was like, we got to get a little bit faster. Walk. A little bit. Yeah. I was like 16-minute mile is the cutoff for Disney. And Austin was like, but it doesn't matter because this isn't Disney. And I was like, but we're training for Disney. So. But we were out there. Yeah. We've been out there Monday through Wednesday. Today's Thursday.
So are you going to do like move your long run to a different weekend, or are you going to?
No, we're going to do Austin said we got to go out on Saturday morning and we're going to go do it. Actually, we're golfing Saturday morning in a golf tournament. So maybe it won't be Saturday morning, but Austin was like, we have to go because we're going to be staying at the cottage. His dad, actually his whole family is like, this cottage has been passed down through generations. And it's like right there on Lake Erie. You can see Cedar Point. Oh my gosh, I blanked out. You can see Cedar Point from this cottage and it's like the most relaxing getaway. And there's like walking trails or like you can go on the beach. And Austin was like, we have to do some walk/jogging on the beach at the cottage. So it's going to happen. It might happen on Sunday, but it'll happen this weekend.
Sounds like a plan. We'll hold you to it.
I think my training is definitely different because I have single-digit training miles on Saturdays. I think like this
Still?
weekend is like, yeah. Uh-huh. I think this weekend is like a 4 miler. It was like, yeah, or maybe 5. It's like not long. Mine is very different.
Are you on the right week?
Let me go look at the calendar.
Because
Hang on.
granted, I have the Dopey schedule programmed into my phone, so it'll be slightly different, although not that different. Last weekend was like a short one. This weekend's supposed to be 11 miles on the Dopey.
Yeah. And usually Dopey and Marathon are pretty
They're pretty close. There's not much
aligned.
variation. Pretty much other than the back-to-backs, because you don't have to do that if you're just running the marathon.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm old fashioned and I printed them. And I even printed out the 5K schedule for Austin.
Aww.
Aw.
I know. Oh my gosh, get this. Week 1, the 5K training, you have to do 10 minutes.
You
And
can do
then
that.
he was like, I don't know if I can do it. I was like, we can do 10 minutes of walking. We got this. So, okay, here's my training schedule, and I've been checking them off. And I even wrote all the dates on them. Okay, so this weekend, September 7th, that's the day of the wedding. Oh, yeah, it's 11 miles. But last Saturday was a 4. And then the Saturday after that, week 11, is a 4.
Yeah, it'll
So,
every other weekend it switches off from
mhm.
short to long.
But yeah, I'm going to make myself make up all of these days that I missed. So, like last night, it was a Wednesday, but we walked for a whole 30 minutes and I was jogging in there too. And we got our 17-minute miles. And so I checked off the first day that I missed. And I wrote on there like asterisk was completed on September 4th and not on July 9th.
What about you, Natalie?
Had a pretty solid training week. The running part was solid. My butt hurts from the strength training workout that I did on Wednesday. Going down the stairs as I was like leaving the office with my boss was humbling yesterday. Walking down the stairs today was also humbling. And it was one of those things where it didn't feel that bad in the moment. But then I don't know. Like, well, okay, there were parts of the workout where my legs were literally shaking.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like, like I looked and I was like, oh man, like here we go. Like, it was fine until it wasn't fine. So
Those
we're
are
a
the
little
worst
sore.
ones.
Yeah, we're a little sore. And by a little, I mean a lot. So we'll see what I actually get done on Friday morning. I don't know. I thought that because my run felt like poop this morning. Going into speed, I'm like, oh, this is probably not going to be a speed workout, but it still was. But like getting out or like starting it out was not great.
Yeah.
But it ended up pretty good. I'm excited because here in Omaha, the weather is going to be gorgeous on Saturday morning. So because we're coming to you from Thursday of last week, so have I completed my long run? Yeah, probably. But 11 miles have not yet been completed, but will be by the time you hear this. I get to start. Well, the temps will be in the 40s. The
Whoa.
40s.
That's
The
wild.
40s.
Here I was looking forward to the fact that the high tomorrow is going to be only 78 degrees in Atlanta, which is just mind blowing. And feels cold when it's been like 95 straight for I don't know how long. But our lows will only get, actually by Monday, we'll get into the fifth. It'll be 58. So that,
Ooh.
if I woke up early, except Monday's a strength day, so I don't really get to take advantage, but this weekend I could get some nice outdoor running, possibly in the 60s, which is a big difference from 80s.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, I got my run done on Tuesday. Went pretty well. I thought for a moment this weekend and on Tuesday that Bartholomew was going to try and make a return appearance, but my toe is fine. There is no blister, thank the Lord. Thank the mouse, thank everyone that there is no blister because that
Thanks,
would
Bob Chapek.
yeah, it would be so bad if I waited. I spent all that time letting it properly heal, and then the first like run or two, it came right back. That would suck. I'm still working on getting my strength back. I just started a brand new job, so I'm working on figuring out my new schedule of what time I have to be at work and when I can leave and all of that. So it's kind of messing with my flow a little bit, but I'll get my speed done probably tomorrow morning. Since I missed strength, just trying to make sure I get all my runs done this weekend or this week. And then next week, since I think I'll have a better idea of what it all looks like, I should be able to do everything. So you guys can hold me accountable that next week I'm buckling down. I keep remembering my parents telling me when I told them I signed up for this, like, what are you doing? Are you insane? Do you not remember the pain you were in? And I keep telling myself, like, you don't want to be in pain. So do the workouts. You'd rather be a little sore or a little tired now rather than get hurt or not be able to finish it. So that's what I've got going on.
You
True
know,
that.
I never actually had that conversation with my parents. I never told them that I signed up for a marathon,
They
but
don't
they
know?
def they saw our Instagram, so it's fine. They know now.
Oh, well,
Mhm.
I have to prove to my parents that I'm gonna do better this time and that it's gonna be a better experience because I still don't think they believe me, even though they have booked rooms to come to Disney and like support us. They will be there at least for the half and the full. I don't think they're coming for the other ones, but for the for the ones that matter, the hard ones in like the grand scheme of things, of everything, like cumulative hard, I guess. Uh, I'm really digging myself into a hole because I really don't want to emphasize the fact that because any race can be hard for anyone, but um,
Yeah, I was gonna say they all
yeah,
matter
they
because
all
if you just decided to sleep in on the 10K morning, you wouldn't get that dopey medal.
yeah,
So it all matters.
it does. But we'll see. Hopefully, I'm not in tears at the finish line. At least not sad tears. Like it's fine if there's happy tears because I did it. Like that's probably gonna happen. I did that during my first marathon, but I'm just hoping to not be crying from pain tears.
Oof. Yep. I've really been trying to do the physical therapy exercises. I dusted off those old papers
hmm
too. Yep.
Yeah, when I ran 12 last weekend. I know I said I was going to only run 8 or 10 because I thought that was even 10 was risky. Well, I ended up doing 12 anyways because chaos. And in the like last mile of 12 miles, I could feel it in my hip, the spot that hurt during Princess, and I was like, that's what I get for not doing my strength exercises. Time to buckle down.
See, it's the awareness. See, we know better, we do better.
Yeah. And hopefully this means that before it turns into an actual injury, like I know like before when it happened earlier this year, I thought like I ran through it for a while in a training run. We were supposed to be doing I don't even remember what we were supposed to be running. Like it was a long run though. And we ended up quitting early, but we still ran for a couple miles after I started to be in pain before Ben finally noticed and was like, this is stupid. We're going home. Ben was the one who was like, "This is a bad idea."
Voice of
Yeah.
reason.
hmm Sometimes
See,
you
I
need
liked
that. That's what friends and partners and everyone is for. Sometimes you need someone
yeah.
else to tell you that it's not worth it.
But see, I liked it when I was doing these training runs back in like 2019, 2020 with my aunt, and we would just show up to this random park with it had tons of bike trails for
hmm
miles. And sometimes my sister would be there too, or my cousin, it was just kind of whoever wanted to be there. And then Misty was the ringleader, and she was like, let's just go this way. And then at the end of it she'd be like, all right, did you just realize that you just did 8 miles just now? Did you know that? And I was like, wow, okay. But like if she had told me beforehand, hey, we're gonna do 8 miles today, or we're gonna do 8 miles on Saturday, I'd be like, actually I want to sleep in and I'm not feeling it. I want to go home.
That's how I felt when I ran the first marathon. I had this wonderful woman named Margaret volunteered out of the goodness of her heart to run a lot of my long runs with me. And she would always pick the course, so I didn't know where we were going. I knew how long we had to run, so I did know what we were doing, but I just didn't have any conceptual understanding, since I didn't know where we were, of how far we really were, because I was trying not to really look at my watch. I was trying to, maintain a conversation with her and enjoy the run and go slow. So it was really nice to it would be done before you knew it. You're out there for a long
Exactly.
time and you just don't even realize the time is passing.
Right.
Whereas when you're by yourself, it you can really get stuck and be like, it's only been 10 minutes. How has it only been
Ugh,
10 minutes?
I know.
Yeah, that definitely gets hard. It's
Mm-hmm.
funny because when I am as the normal solo runner here, I am. I don't even know which way I'm going when I leave. Sometimes I'm just exiting my neighborhood. I'm like, we're gonna go a different way this time. Planning for the long runs because I have a game that I'm doing of how close can I get to the office. I
Mm-hmm.
need to make sure I might call tomorrow that I ask my boss what his bets are on how close, like what street I get to on the way to the office for the long run this weekend.
I wish
But
I could do that. And this is foreshadowing for you guys. We're going to be talking about runner safety today, but I live in a major metropolitan area. I don't feel particularly safe running by myself, specifically in a place that I don't know where I'm going. So I don't have these rogue runs like Natalie does.
Yeah, it would be a while for me to run all the way to my work. I live in a different county, and I live out in the boondocks here at our house, but then my school is off of a major highway, which is also right next to a major freeway. So I'd have to find some back roads to get there. But when I did my first half marathon, it was the day of the Star Wars half, what it was supposed to be back in 2020. And I just mapped out from my parents' house to my childhood elementary school. And then I had to do we had a 1 mile loop that we would do in gym class in elementary school and middle school. And I just did that as like a supplemental extra mile. And then I ran home. But I don't think I could do that right now. I don't think I could go run to my high school.
to be fair with the rogueness is that when even in my neighborhood of like which little sub area of the neighborhood I would go into in my old neighborhood where I lived in the apartment, it'd be like, oh, I guess we're gonna go into like this part now, and then I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go do these like this cul-de-sac, these loops, these other things, and we're gonna go this away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but so like there's like an area, a
Mm-hmm.
plan ish. But sometimes I surprise myself because of like how it all goes out, um, just to keep things fresh in
Yeah.
a way, so that it's like, oh my god, it's only been a mile and a quarter, like, um, but because also like everything is hilly here. Again, Nebraska's not flat, at least not this part of it. But everything is hilly, so it's like, how much pain do I want to be in at what points in time? Okay, I have gonna have more tolerance for this toward the beginning.
All right. Should we get into countdown? Into our
Yeah.
dates?
Calendar.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay, so we have 51 days until Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2024. Can't believe we're under 60 days. I know we said that like a week or two ago, but
Wild.
it's just getting closer and closer. I guess that's how time works. And then we've got 120 days until Marathon Weekend. Again, astounding how close that is. We're not
Yeah.
quite under 100, but that's only 4 months. Yeah.
Let's see. From when this releases, it'll be 10K day? It'll be 10K day of marathon weekend. In
Yeah.
4 months. 4 months from
Yeah.
today will be 10K day. Yeah. Eek.
It's
Eek.
so real and yet so not. All right. And then we've got 142 days until Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend, 163 days until Princess Weekend 2025, and 205 days until Springtime Surprise 2025. And if you are still needing to get in your proof of time, you have until October 1st to get that in. And that's our roundup. It's pretty short today, just for the dates. Ready for your Disney news?
Oh boy, I am.
You want to cover the news this time, Natalie?
Yeah, I scoured the internet for this myself. Not really. But so coming to Hollywood Studios in summer of 2025 is a villains stage show. Ooh,
Is this
ah.
like preview hype? Because it's obviously they're not putting the like villains area in Hollywood Studios, but practice run for characters or something.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be pretty sweet if that's what it is. It's replacing Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. So, sad ka-chow all around because October the 7th will be the last day to go see Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy and learn the power of friendship and working together and beating Chick Hicks. Spoiler alert if you haven't
What?
seen Cars.
I feel really bad. I've never been to that show. And it's closing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It is. The Lightning animatronic's pretty cool, I'm not going to lie.
Oh. That's too soon. I want to go now.
Maybe
You
there's a
should-
video you can watch on the internet.
Oh, I've seen the video, but that's not the same.
Maybe they'll just, I don't know, drive the animatronic over to Magic Kingdom.
Right.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
with
maybe
the new
they'll
Cars
reuse
Land.
it when they build Cars Land. So maybe you
Yeah.
will get a chance to see it again.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, this was kind of a surprise. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if this doesn't really help or hurt. I mean, I think the fact that they're closing this at all, I'm a little surprised to see it like encompassing a villain stage show and this not be related to the great Monsters Inc. land debate of where it's going. Of well, because some people think it's going to go where Rock and Roller Coaster is. I'm like, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense because then you'd be taking out a ride to put a new one in, and that does not help.
Yeah.
That does not help when we're trying to expand parks. And also, no. But in the great Muppet hashtag Save the Muppets debate, but interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes they give us surprises. Since Food and Wine has started, this is not our outline, but the Communicore Hall has opened with festival stuff.
Ooh.
People seemed whelmed at best.
Oh,
Um,
Oh.
dang.
that like it really because I think there was some backlash with it with when it opened originally. It's like this is a bland looking space. I, as somebody who sometimes has to do a little worky in Epcot in the parks because I'm trying to stretch that PTO as far as I can. Saw it and went, "Oh, heck yeah. That looks like that looks like some spaces. Those are some outlets. Guess who's going to go? I'll take my special pat down every time bringing in my laptop to, go somewhere." But people seem somewhat whelmed by it. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I need to see it myself. Also, like somewhere air conditioned in the middle of Epcot, concrete jungle sounds like a good idea to me.
Yeah, I concur.
Personally. So, as of the time y'all are hearing this, Tron at Magic Kingdom is now off of virtual queue and it will be on a standby queue.
This is truly
Very
shocking.
exciting.
I'm surprised, but I'm not.
No, for real.
I mean, I guess they've only ever had one ride per park on virtual queue at a time. But I guess I kind of thought with like fall coming that Tiana's might die down faster because it's a water ride. I don't know. I just didn't think Tron was going to be it. I know it's been out for a while, but it just seems like still very
No, it's still pretty
popular.
new. Yeah, it's still very popular. I haven't been on it yet.
Really?
And I really want to go on it. Yeah, I haven't been on it
Oh.
since. Well, when we went in July, we didn't do
Right.
Magic Kingdom because we did the 3
Mhm.
parks for $89 a day ticket. So no Magic Kingdom. We walked past the turnstiles just because we took a bus to Magic Kingdom and then got on the boat to go to the Poly. So we kind of waved hi at the train station, but that was it. We didn't go inside. So I haven't been on it yet.
Oh, I would have thought you would have gotten it at Princess or some other time. Oh,
It wasn't open at
Tron?
Princess.
Yeah, it was.
No, Tron. I've been on Tron twice,
okay.
but I haven't been on
That's
Tiana's.
what you're talking about. I thought we
Yeah.
were talking Tron, and I was very
Mhm.
confused at. Okay, Roger that. We're back on.
No. Well, I'm still confused. I'm still confused about why they would take Tron off because if anything, like they still have Seven Dwarfs Mine Train as the individual single lane, whatever lightning lane. So I feel like Tron should be the solo single lane, and then Tiana should be the virtual queue.
Oh, I guess I should say,
Well, you can get an individual single pass for
Right,
Tron
and you
now.
well, you
can,
always have been able to.
yes, I think, yeah, and that should stay. I don't know. This
I
is
guess my
confusing,
surprise
but
is not about Tron versus Tiana's. My surprise is Tron's versus Guardians. Guardians is still
Oh,
on
because Garns has been
because
out.
Guardians opened
oh,
in May of 2022. Tron opened in April of 2023.
mm-hmm.
That's where my surprise is, but also kind of not surprised just based on how Guardians
But
goes.
Guardians, yeah, Guardians is like the big popular ride in Epcot, and then Tron is the big popular ride in Magic Kingdom. But I think Tiana has overshadowed Tron just because of its newness.
Hmm.
So that's why Tiana should take the virtual queue spot and not Tron. And then Tron should still be the single lane
Yeah.
attraction. But why is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train a ride from 2013? This is over a decade old. Why is it still considered worthy?
Not much
It's not even a tier 1.
longer.
Really?
Well, no, I mean,
Oh,
like once all the new
you
stuff
have
opens, like it's not. I would be shocked. I think it's just because there is the ability to capitalize on that for people with family, right? Like if you're not going to be able to ride Tron, like I know my husband, that wasn't even like a conversation of putting him on Tron. Um,
right,
it
of
was
course.
putting him on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, but so like if you
Did he do
he
it?
didn't because
Oh,
he was kind of parked out for the day at that point in time. So I did it. He did not. Um,
yeah, I don't blame him.
so if terms of people with families, people with just different people of different abilities, less of a height requirement, people who there are the assisted seats on Tron, the seats that aren't laying forward, but it's more accessible to have Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So I am not that surprised that it remains on individual Lightning Lane or Lightning Lane single pass. But
Really?
I think once all the new stuff opens, that kind of just in my mind just brought up the shift because I remember when Star Wars back on the Fast Pass Plus system back in 2020 and prior, RIP, where the shifts happened of like what was a tier 1 and tier 2 ride at Hollywood Studios
Right.
when Star Wars opened, when it stopped being everything in Toy Story Land being tier 1 because Star Wars Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run were opening. So that was just kind of the mental shift, just kind of got me excited for when all the new stuff at Magic Kingdom opens. Like what's going to be? I'd be surprised if Magic Kingdom goes to tiers because they're but well, wait, no, it is on tiers now. Sorry.
They are on
It's
I
already
know.
on
tiers.
Oopsie.
tiers.
Yeah. The only one is Animal
Right, right,
Kingdom is
right.
not on the tiers, which is fine because there's so few
Yeah.
attractions. I mean, there's like shows and whatever in
I just
Animal
feel like
Kingdom, but
Magic Kingdom is gonna fall. Like they're gonna either have to have more things in tier 1. There's so many rides at Magic
that's
Kingdom.
what I'm saying. So that's why I was like, why put Dark Park and Cars Land in Magic Kingdom when those two could easily fit inside of Hollywood Studios? And let's expand on that park, make that one bigger. Because we totally got every single ride plus the shows done in one day. And we even left for a few hours to go to the pool. So Hollywood Studios is very much a 1 day park. You could expand on it and make it bigger, add more. They could add 4 more rides there. Magic Kingdom does not need 4 more attractions, especially e-tickets. But what I'm saying with the mine train being on the single rider or whatever, the single lane,
Lightning Lane
whatever it's
single
called.
pass.
Yeah, all these like semantics with Disney parks now. Ugh. But okay, so when you take kids to the park and they want to go on all the rides, like they want to go on Peter Pan and Small World, and they want to go on, whatever is considered a lightning lane with the multi pass, they also want to go on the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And no parent wants to be stuck in that standby line for 3 hours with their toddler. So they don't want to have to buy the extra Lightning Lane, they already paid for the Genie Plus service for the day, and they have a toddler who's tall enough and is willing to go on the ride. Why do they have to shell out like an extra $15 a person when they could just have it in the multi pass?
Oh, from a
You
consumer
know?
standpoint, I understand. From a business
Right. But then from
yeah.
a financial,
Bean
yeah.
Counter
Yeah.
understands what the demand behind.
Bean Counter is
Um,
like, yeah, we got to get mom,
Yeah.
dad, and toddler on. So that's like an extra $45 going into Mickey Mouse's
Hey,
pocket.
it's Mickey's money. He just loans it to you. But
Mm-hmm.
no, I think it, because back in the day of the Fast Pass Plus, when it was not, Magic Kingdom was not tiered, and like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train was just not tiered. So, because I think DAC was tiered back then, because you could only do one of the two Avatar rides, because that was back in the day where those were so new. So that was tiered,
Right.
which is bonkers town to me that now it's not, because that just that melted my
remember
brain
that, yeah.
just a tad there. But interesting to see how the queues go for Tron, how having a standby works. I would be curious if they would ever implement a single rider line, as somebody who is frequently a single rider on that. I don't know. I'd be curious to see how and if that would ever work. I feel like it's going to be probably quite a bit down the line, but I don't know. We'll see.
I kind of wish that they would do single rider on almost any attraction. Not like obviously not every single one, but all the big ones. Even the dinosaur
Rip.
ride at Animal Kingdom. I know, sad, but there was like 2 empty seats or something, and I was like, there's probably a party of two somewhere in the line, and the cast member was like, it's not a big deal, and I'm like, efficiency, come on.
Oh, speaking of the dinosaur of it all, I said a couple weeks ago when we talked to D23 about when they announced what Splash Mountain's last day was going to be to when it actually closed. I did follow up on that. So the announcements came out December 2nd, 2022 for a January 22nd, 2023 closing. So that was about, give her 50 or so days, maybe not quite 50, but so precedent speaking, I have like a mental countdown of I still don't think, and I'm going to let this stay on the record, I still don't think that we're going to see the closure of Dinosaur and Dino Land prior to Wine and Dine, because I think it would be dumb to close it before the holiday season when they kind of need to, have things with capacity. However, we are monitoring this situation closely.
It's okay, I got the whole video of the Dr. Seeker pre-show, so, and I sent it to our group
It's
chat.
true, but I want to see the dino like hand puppet. Hello there,
Oh,
I
such a
know.
good show.
It's again, I'm happy for the change. I'm happy to see that. But there's like that little nostalgia bit that
Me too.
I'll miss that. I'll definitely miss that once it does do the changeover. And then also just the kind of campy aspect of Dino Land as is. Got to get on that Triceratops spin one more time for lulz.
We did do that. We did every attraction possible in Dinoland USA. We just did not go to Restaurantosaurus, but we did the Boneyard and we did Triceratops spin, whatever it's called. And we had to do it because RIP Dinoland USA.
All right, last piece of news here. I don't know if either of you really watch Dancing with the Stars, but I do.
I haven't in a long time.
Yeah.
But I heard that one of our favorite Olympians from the Team USA gymnastics team is going to be on it. So
Pommel horse guy.
Yep.
Don't even know his name.
Steven Natarazek.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, I wasn't going to pronounce it like that or get anywhere close.
I started following him on Instagram. He's so cute. And his girlfriend was a gymnast too back in the day. They met in college. I know. She's so cute. And everyone in the comments was like, wife that girl up. So I really hope that he proposes soon. I'm gonna stan them from now on.
But we got our cast announcement this week. So we have all of our pairings as well, which is exciting. We have 2 people from The Bachelor. So we have the most recent Bachelor, Joey, and then the most recent Bachelorette, whose season just ended a week ago by the time you are hearing this, Jen. So I'm glad that after I've kind of fallen out of watching The Bachelor over the last few years, but I'm kind of glad I heard that her finale was a complete dumpster fire. So I'm glad that she gets this out of it. It's something
I'm gonna have to go back and stream it then if it was a dumpster fire.
I've heard it's like not even an enjoyable dumpster fire.
Oh.
Like, and that's like why I've stopped watching, because it's been like you see a little too much of the producer manipulation. Like it's way too blatant, and then also like these are people. Like, why would you do
Mhm.
that? Why would you do that? So, as somebody who again hasn't watched since the combined Bachelorette season of Rachel and Gabby, still stay involved in the threads. Apparently, not apparently, obviously, but I heard it was kind of a dumpster fire. But we have 2
Mm.
Olympians. We have
Who's the other one?
Alona Mayer.
It's
Sorry,
okay. We're trying.
yeah,
Alana
Alana.
Mayer?
Thank you. Yes,
Stop.
yes.
Oh my God, I love her.
So it's exciting because we have a gymnast and then a rugby player from Team USA.
So exciting. It's the year of Alana
Good.
Meyer.
And that's kind of where the exciting part of the cast ends for me, personally. Um, we
Oh.
have Anna Delvey, who
That took
is
a turn.
a convicted criminal. Yeah. They always do like some sort of controversial contestant, but like also why? There's some different, and I'm sure somebody's punching the air right now of like why. Like there's I don't know. There's some basketball star. There's some
You know,
NFL
maybe
star
it's good representation.
of a criminal.
Maybe it's good. But like, did she actually do it? Or was she wrongly convicted?
No, I think that she was
Like,
I think she's a fraudster. I'm pretty sure Anna Delvey was like a fraud, like a.
She pretended to be a socialite in New York. She was from somewhere. I don't remember. She's that one.
Wasn't there like a movie about her?
Yeah.
Yeah, they made a like fictional
Yeah. Oh.
based on her life.
So that's why,
Yeah.
because she's popular. She has a movie
Yeah,
and a book.
yeah, she sure does. She
Wow.
yeah, I think that somebody's already made the joke about, because in her like promo picture for Dancing with the Stars, like you could see her ankle monitor.
That's her signature jewelry
Oh
right
my
there.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's
Aw.
some I think that
But we shouldn't be saying bad things about people.
no, definitely. And I don't know, it'll be interesting. And I always feel like I go in and I'm like somewhat whelmed by a cast, and then by like week like 8 I'm like ready to fight for this person with like every last fiber of my being. Like last season, my husband and I both were big fans of Sochi Gomez, who ended up winning. But like I didn't know who she was, because she was in a Marvel movie. I didn't know who she was. And then by week 4, I'm like, I'm going to fight for this 17-year-old with the last fiber of my being. But very excited to see Dancing with the Stars back. We very much enjoy this in the in Mr. Natalie and I's household.
Yeah, I haven't watched Dancing with the Stars since Donny Osmond was on.
Oh, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been since like 2007.
The season 31 and 32 are both on Disney Plus. I wish you could get to the back catalog, but I think it's a licensing thing. But those, because season 31 exclusively aired on Disney Plus. Season 31 is good. It's so good. That was that was a very, very good season. So,
and that's all we've got for news,
yep.
right?
Season starts on September 17th. Yeah. Woo woo.
I feel like I have not been caught up in the Disney news at all. I'm way behind on my Tim Tracker videos. I thought this was going to be a very easy work week for me, and I was going to be able to like catch up on lots of stuff, but because it's standardized testing, and I've found myself just staring at my screen, monitoring all of their screens the entire time to try to catch for cheating. And I'm like, guys, please stop. So, yeah, it has been like the biggest waste of time. I'm like, I'm going to get so much done this week. And then I'm like just sitting there watching my screen. And then I'm like, so and so, what are you doing?
All right, so I think we're ready to move on to our main topic, and we're going to be focusing today on a little PSA, some runner safety. If you've been listening, you should know that all of us were lifeguards, so we are we find safety to be of the utmost importance. We have a special
Safety
place in our
begins
hearts.
with us.
Indeed.
Yes, safety begins with us.
So we're just going to go over a few of our top tips and a little bit of equipment, all the things that you can do to make your run just a little bit safer. So the top tip, number one tip, be alert. So when you're going out on your run, solo, in a group, doesn't really matter, but if you are out exercising, you need to be aware of what's going on. You can't be in la la land. You have to stay on it. Whether that be listening to your music or thinking about your day or looking at the beautiful trees. Make sure that you know what's going on around you so that you have the best chance of, if something doesn't quite feel right, uh, of making a decision to change that. Like, you guys
Yeah.
aren't going to say anything?
I don't really have a lot to add to that. Just making sure, because I think,
No, you
yeah,
guys go.
because I
Yeah.
think that a lot.
I'm just along for the ride. I'll listen because this is
Yeah.
all very good information.
Yeah. And then as long as, if you're aware and you do happen to notice something, say you're you've been running down the road and you notice that you saw a car that was you saw earlier and they don't seem to be going as fast as you anticipated, or you hear a weird noise, or you just get the ick, that feeling that runs down your spine, the tingling on the back of your neck and your scalp, the feeling that there's just something not quite right, trust it. Trust your gut. Do not, even have a question, my advice will always be do something about it. Go a different direction, change where you are, call someone. If you feel uncomfortable, don't just brush it off, because you'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah, it's important to not get complacent as well. Where
Mhm.
you go similar areas, you go, and I'm somewhat guilty of this. Like when I went out on my run the other morning, I think 3 of my neighbors just had their garages open. Like in the and it wasn't like morning when people are leaving, like they're like it was like they probably left them open overnight. So again, like I live in an area that's, you know, like a good neighbor type of thing where like if I knew some of my neighbors better, I
Mhm.
probably would have been like, "Hey, let me close your garage for you." But I didn't want to be like that weirdo. Right? Like I live in a very like kind of like that kind of an area, but also I don't know. I always try to keep my head on a swivel personally of and just
Mhm.
you notice when something's wrong, you notice when something's different, and you don't always have to react because sometimes it is just there is a dude just running around the same time as you or give you the little
Mhm.
wave, but you want to always make sure that you are keep I don't know paying attention to the surroundings, especially again not
Mhm.
settling into complacency. And it sucks that you have to be that worry or you have to worry in that way, but it's just the reality of the situation is that it's better safe than sorry, and it's better to be a little bit worried about something and come home
Mhm.
safe, frankly.
Yeah. And branching off of that comment of complacency and like going on different say sticking to the same route all the time, varied routes is also a good tip. This is where, even though I wouldn't do it, Natalie's going rogue and always choosing a different route and not knowing what order she's going to go and not sticking to the same route has its positives, right? If I was going to run the exact same route every single day at the exact same time, that would give someone the opportunity to recognize a pattern if someone did have ill will or something. So you can stick to the same route if you feel like there's a comfortable area, but maybe go in a slightly different time or try and switch the beginning or the end or some part of it. That also helps.
Let the chaos dragon keep you safe.
Hmm. And then something else to go with that is when you do your runs, tell someone where you're going. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. You should, like, when if I'm going to go for a run and I'm not going to go with Ben, then I obviously tell Ben goodbye before I leave. I tell him how far I'm going to go, how long I think it's going to take me, and when I plan to be back. I also share my location. Everyone in my family can see my location, um, and they know what I'm up to. So then, if, say, I don't get back when I'm supposed to, I also carry my phone. So Ben could call me and see, hey, did you trip and do you need me to come get you? Are you not feeling well? Is it just not a good run, so it's taking longer? Is it a bad day? But that gives us the option of, like, they know to check in of.
Yeah, sharing the location is huge.
Mhm.
It's definitely helpful. And again, as a chaos dragon, sometimes like, well, it's however long I don't know what I'm not as much into this anymore. Where sometimes I do let the spirits take me on my run of sorts of like I'm gonna just go, and oops, that was 10 today. That doesn't happen so much anymore because I'm tired. But my
Yeah.
husband has my location. I have a couple other. Hannah has my location. I have hers too.
Mhm.
So it's different ways where and my husband will check in with me if he feels like he hasn't heard from me in a little bit, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, we're just at this mile, or we're good." So
Mhm.
it's definitely it's good to that he has that. Other people have that, and I'm identifiable. Should
Thanks
yeah,
for sharing your location,
yeah,
Caitlin.
live.
Yeah, I was like, this is starting to be like a true crime podcast, and I'm just gonna share my location with you guys too. I mean, I share my location with Austin. We've been sharing our locations with each other since we've been dating, and that's definitely a green flag. And I do share my location with his side of the family because his one sister has really bad anxiety, so she wants to know where everybody is at all times, and I'm totally okay with that. So, but yeah, it's always a good idea. I mean, when I go running, I typically try to go run in like broad daylight.
Yep,
So
that's another
that's
hot
like,
tip.
oh, cool. Look at me contributing.
Yeah,
Okay.
be
Because I was going to
visible.
say, well, this year, so my school starts at 7:20. So it's, I can't really run before school. I just can't do it. It's dark and I don't want to. And
Mhm.
it's early and I'm tired. So that is a good thing about getting out of school at 2, 2:10.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I could go run in the afternoon and I have. That's
Mhm.
all my runs have just been in the afternoon.
No wonder summer's
So,
been brutal for you.
oh God, it really has.
But yeah, I would say that tip of whether you're going to run in the dark or during the day, you need to be visible. So if you're running it in the dark, whether that's morning or night, then you need to consider the clothing you're wearing, and potentially any other accessories. So Natalie and I both have the Nox Gear vest, and it has a like yellow and silver like safety reflective belt that goes sort of around your like sort of where your bra would go if you wear a sports bra, or if you're a guy it would be like probably right at the bottom of your pecs. um, and then it has like, what are they, like LED cables kind
Rave
of
lights.
that, yeah, rave lights that go over your shoulders and then sort of like down below. So it creates two loops around each of your arms. And there's like a bajillion different light settings. You can do almost basically every color in the rainbow solid, every color in the rainbow, like lighting up and fading. You can also do like fast blinking. You can also cycle through the rainbow. There's a lot of options. The point being that someone's going to have a really hard time missing you on the sidewalk, on the road, anything, because it doesn't really look like anything else they should be seeing on the road. You're not going to look like another sign. You're not going to look like the stoplights. It's going to be different, and that should trigger something for people. Um, and then,
We
no,
should really incorporate this as like a costume. Like we could be Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and then like I'll get the vest too, and then like whoever is, I don't know what colors they are. Like Huey is what, like blue, you know? Wait, no, Louie's red, right?
I'm not gonna.
Everybody in
I
the
I don't know. It's a jumble in my brain.
Everyone here listening to this is going to be like, oh my God, how does this girl not even know? How can she call herself a Disney cast member? How dare she? But yeah, what are we going to do? Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and then we're going to do the 3 fairies for Princess Weekend?
We could wear them for the fairies too.
We could, yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. So double usage out of this vest, and you just wear it every time you go run outside in general. We could really get a lot of use out of this costume piece.
Multifaceted.
Mm-hmm.
That cost per wear is down.
Exactly.
So Louis is the green duck, by the way. So I'm gonna remember that by it's like Louis, Luigi. So I'll remember that.
I was thinking Louis like Louisville is red, but
Huey
okay.
is red.
No.
like Luigi.
And Dewey is blue. And blue and
Dewey makes sense.
yes. Oh, like water, like dew. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Okay. Wow, he's got a really formal name. He's a Doofer Dingus Dewey Duck. One of the 9 protagonists of DuckTales.
There's 9?
What?
I gotta watch me some DuckTales.
Protagonists.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, who's the antagonist of the DuckTales wiki fandom?
The Scrooge McDuck.
Well, I think he would probably be
whoever
Isn't he their uncle?
No, who is the guy who wears the mask?
I don't know. I haven't watched this recently enough.
I have never seen DuckTales, actually. I know.
Yeah. Well, while we're looking that up.
I've never seen DuckTales. All right, I'm Googling it right now.
The other way to stay visible in the dark is to wear reflective items. So if you can get there's obviously clothes that you can buy on the market that have reflective strips, but you can also buy reflective tape and add strips to your clothing, and that's actually going to be probably even more visible because it'll be larger strips, larger pieces that you can add. And then if you're going to run during the day, which you could also, these daytime tips also kind of fall into the nighttime pattern, but I would say during the day to be visible, you're going to want to, and this is going to be controversial because I know everyone loves their slimming black colors. There's a lot of black exercise clothes on the market, but my preference actually is you should wear bright colors, patterns, things that are going to make you stick out when you run past someone, that they recognize you and notice you and remember you, so that people know that you've gone by. Another way to be visible is to say hi to your fellow runners, to wave, to acknowledge their existence so that they have to also engage. Especially with a lot of people running with their headphones in, it's even easier to like run past someone and not even realize, other than the fact that maybe you have to shuffle over a little bit on the sidewalk or a little bit on the road to pass them, and completely forget like how many runners you went past on that run or who you were near. So my mom always makes fun of me, but I have a pair of shorts that look like a Monet painting. I've got hot pink leggings. I try, and I have plenty of black, don't get me wrong, but I try and wear something like bright and out there. I like neon shoes. I like bright hats. None of it ever matches. I look like a clashing disaster, but I feel very confident that the people I'm running near are going to notice that I look like a clashing disaster, and that's going to work in my favor.
And I feel like listening to a podcast while running is better because it's not as loud as music. I don't know. I feel safer if I'm out there running listening to a podcast because there's gaps in the audio instead of like listening to music and you lose yourself in the song and you get really hyped listening to Eminem and you're not paying attention to the other sounds around you.
I was going to make an Eminem joke.
When we're I always got to listen to Eminem on my running playlist.
Well, you said lose yourself, so
there we go. Yes. Wow, that was such a pun unintended. So, but yeah, so I feel like you are more aware of your surroundings when you're just listening to people talk, and I can hear the oncoming cars from behind me instead of when I'm listening to music. So podcast might be the safer route.
Yeah, and this is where something like either running with one headphone in, or if you have shocks, the bone conduction, so your ears are still exposed. You can still hear what's going on around you, but you can also listen to your music, podcast, video, whatever it is that you enjoy. Audiobooks, love me an audiobook. Those are other ways that will help you be aware of your surroundings. So be smart with your headphones. Do not, one, you're probably going to overheat if you wear like a big old pair of over-ear headphones for a prolonged period of time, but also noise canceling is not your best friend on a run. Even if you really don't want to hear the sound of your own breathing, get used to it. Is my advice.
What if the ice cream man had free ice cream for you, like, and you just didn't know? That would be so sad. Or
Be
like a
careful with the ice cream,
yeah,
man.
true. Or like, oh my god. Oh,
Natalie.
oh my god, I wasn't even trying. I was just like, what if you had like a refreshing treat in the middle of your run and you just didn't know because you had noise cans? Like, oh my god, I wasn't even thinking of like a man in a van. Oh my
Wait, that wasn't where
no,
you were going with
I
this
was
whole
going
time?
innocent for once.
For
Oh
all,
my God.
I really wish everyone
For
listening could
once?
see Natalie's face. She is absolutely horrified with herself right now.
No, I'm thinking innocently, like, oh, like what if you got like a
There
little
are
lemon
really
bar or something like that, like an ice
no.
cream.
There are really not a lot of men in vans trying to give out free ice cream
yeah.
to random women who are running
Yes,
by.
no,
Unless you run into like Rupert Grint,
true.
no, you're not gonna meet anybody who's trying to give away free ice cream.
Yes, no, if anyone is, just don't. But no, I mean, like, what if you didn't hear like something like, oh, like I don't know, like I live in Tornado Alley, like didn't hear it. I would probably not be out if it were like that, but a freak storm if you didn't hear something else. So you want to make sure you can,
They can come on
yeah,
quick.
you can hear your
Mhm.
surroundings, you can hear just what's going on around you. Oh my god! I mean, I was gonna go with a
Hence why
genie
we have to listen
when I
to
was gonna go with a
podcasts.
genie in a bottle that can transport you home, but I'm like, yeah, that's unrealistic. But I guess also random person in a van who's not like trying to like take you somewhere and dismember you is probably also somewhat unrealistic.
Just don't get into vehicles with people you don't know.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Unless it's the Uber you summoned, in which case, that person's vetted.
Uber
Still
still
be careful.
scares
Be
me.
careful.
I hate having to take Uber and Lyft, like traveling. Oh, I hate it.
The last tip that I would have to offer is when you are running, speaking of mystery people, you don't know any of the drivers in vehicles. You don't know who, this is not a don't get in the van with scary, but like you don't know if someone's going to stop at a stop sign. You don't know if someone's going to run a red light. So never trust that a driver sees you on the road or on a sidewalk either. So always make eye contact, always acknowledge that they see you and you see them and that you're going the direction you say you're going before proceeding into a place that puts you at risk, aka a crosswalk, the road. So if you're running on the road in general, this is also why you should run against traffic so that you can see what's coming at you. That gives you a chance to move if someone's not paying attention. A lot of people texting and driving out there, guys. You cannot trust that the people behind the wheel are going to do what they're supposed to do. Not trying to say that people aren't trying to be safe, but things happen every day. So do what you can and take the precautions that you can do within your own control.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, give yourself the opportunity to
And
duck and like jump
yeah.
out of the way. That's been something that
Mm-hmm.
when my one stellar season of cross country, where that my coach did say that to us, where make sure that you're always running so that you can jump out of the way and you can't if the car is coming from behind you.
Yep.
I think something else on our list is also carrying your ID and cell phone. Now, there are some
Yes.
people where I, as a chronically online individual, couldn't leave without my cell phone, but some people, one of
Like the freedom of not being attached to it.
and I know for some people, one of my brothers included, he doesn't take his phone with him because when he ran cross country, you had your little watch and it wasn't even a smartwatch back in that day,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like, a lot of people have like those old habits die hard where maybe he takes it now, but I knew for a while that he didn't. He just really he just had his GPS and he just he just went out there. So I think if this is you and you're feeling a little called out right now, like, oh, well, I never really run with my anything but my watch. And maybe if you have like data enabled on your Apple Watch, I have a Fitbit. So like I don't have there's nothing on here.
I do. I can make calls from my watch.
It's probably for the best also to just have some sort of a backup, just again, just so you can call
Mhm.
for help, so that you are visible, so that you are right, having your ID on you, right? Like,
And that's not just because you won't always be in control of everything. Someone could do absolutely nothing to you and you have a medical
right,
emergency while you're running. You could get overheated, you could have heat illness, you could be dehydrated, you could pass out. There's a lot of things that could go wrong that you didn't plan for that have nothing to do with someone else being malicious. But if that happens, you want someone to be able to identify who you are and be able to access emergency information about you so that that can be provided to medical providers.
indeed. There are road ID bracelets. I don't have one,
Mhm.
but that have like an emergency contact, your name. I think that you can put any allergy information on there just in case you were
Mhm.
incapacitated and could not provide that yourself. So like I'm allergic to penicillin. I'm not personally, but say you were. That
Mhm.
that would be information for a healthcare provider to need if they can't, if you're incapacitated and can be spoken to. So that's definitely a
Mhm.
good tool to have. It's I mean, there's good things about this, even like without like the whole like this is the state of the world type of thing. Like I think it's good to
Yeah.
do the best you can to keep yourself safe. Again, like we kind of didn't, we only briefly touched on, oh, like what if you're like gonna pass out? Like maybe like don't like go out on your run if you're like not feeling super like great, or right if like you're feeling
Yeah.
dizzy and you haven't had a sip of water in like 42 hours, maybe not the time to go out on like a 12-mile run. But under fuel,
This is the double
yes.
meaning of trust your gut.
Yes. Making sure that you just, set yourself up for success and like don't just try
Mhm.
to wing, like when it is like 92 degrees outside and you have to do, but like setting yourself up for success, right? It goes in a couple different ways. So do your best. It's kind of do what you can to kind of keep enjoying the sport that you enjoy, right? Where
Mhm.
You know, I personally hate running inside on a treadmill and like don't do it unless I have to. Right? I'm gonna eat those words when we have a wicked winter. But I hate doing it. So like I do my best to keep myself safe. I don't post like my address places. Like I know
Mhm.
Strava helps. I don't Strava, but I know Strava helps and it blocks out like your start and end area of your run so
Yeah.
that like people aren't like, ooh, like that street. Um, but
Yeah, and you can also just turn that off and you can adjust the settings in Strava of how much of the run you want cut off. So if you want more than the standard, you can do that. Also, if you'd rather not post it, you can just have location not shared.
cool. Yeah, as someone who don't do Strava, that's good. And I figured that there were some sort of safety features associated, but again, I it's not something that I am as experienced in. But we want to all be able to continue doing what we can to stay safe. Um yeah, I yeah, that's about all think I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another tool I had. I forgot. I remembered. Haha. But so I have this little alarm. It's called a
Do you have a
I
birdie?
th- I think I have like not like the off-brand birdie, but like a different brand. I think it's called a
Mhm.
Siren Song, but I've like kind of like rubbed off the thing. So I have never had to use it. However,
I have one
I
too.
have it. So it's a little thing where it's like a little like button I can press where it'll like it shrieks. It's very
It's
loud.
loud. Don't test it inside.
Yes. Put your dog outside before you do test it, or like get away from your dog because that would probably hurt and be shrill. But again, it's something to if I heard one of those, even if I was just out minding my P's and Q's, I would probably like wonder, what's going on and what, and maybe,
And it's gonna disorient whoever is near you,
yeah.
so for sure.
Yeah, there are Go Guarded is a brand where there's a lot of safety tools. It's not something that I personally own or have used, but definitely a
Mhm.
lot of safety tools. I know that's pretty popular with runners. But again, we want to
Yep.
kind of keep you guys safe, kind of keep ourselves safe. Kind of getting prepared for this episode, it made me think of some of the things I do, or I'm like, oh, And yeah, and
There's always room for
always
improvement.
room for improvement, things to reflect on a little bit, and makes me think of my wins too, of just, you know, always do like the little runner wave to other people, and then I start
Hmm.
recognizing other people where, I think that in my old neighborhood, like, should something have happened, I don't know, should something have happened to want to be like, oh, like I see this person all the time, like they're not like a suspicious figure, but like I always did worry the first time I saw them, even if it was in broad daylight, because
Hmm.
while I don't want to go into statistics and whatnot, but it can also happen in broad daylight, where you can, like, things can happen, but um, you know,
Plenty of stuff happens in broad
yeah,
daylight.
plenty does. There's enough stories you can Google any single day that occur, and it's sad, but I don't know. We, especially as a women-based
Yeah.
podcast, kind of wanted to touch on safety, and it's a little bit heavier of a topic,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's an important one.
And depending on where you live and your regulations and where you're running, that may impact the variety of personal safety tool options you have. So, um, if you're just like running around your neighborhood or on a public street, then you can carry the sound alarm, you can carry pepper spray. I carry pepper spray. Um, but if you're going to go, say, run on a track at a school, you're not going to be able to have some of those because there may be restrictions on what's allowed on a school campus. Caitlin probably knows this way better than any of
True.
us. And then depending on what state you live in, there are other options. I'm not going to say yes or no to other personal protective options, but use your discretion and make whatever choice works best for you.
Well, I feel like if you guys brought your pepper spray and your birdie alarm, I think that would be fine at a outdoor school track, as
Hmm.
long as you're not going in the building.
Yeah, there's just
Um,
like in Oregon, there's actually, I learned this because I was living there for a few months. There's actually rules about in public parks about not being allowed to have pew pews, uh, pepper
well,
spray.
okay.
Uh,
Right. Oh, the
Pepper
pepper
spray was
spray,
also
really?
included because it's considered a weapon. So you could have
Oh,
the sound
okay.
alarm because it doesn't
Maybe,
actually like interact physically with another person, but they
okay.
had rules
Yeah.
about, I don't know if it was a city thing of where I was at or if it was a state thing, but depending on where you're at, just know the laws for you so you can make an informed
My
choice.
my school district just spent like $11 million or something crazy like that on weapon detection things, but they just have them on the inside. So once you walk in the door, um, but it only picks up like the craziest items. I mean, I think it has also picked up an actual weapon this school year, but um, you can't bring in anything metal. So, like a spiral notebook, not allowed.
Wow.
Zippers on a backpack, yeah. Spoon to eat your yogurt, not allowed. But a Stanley mug,
It's
totally
fine.
allowed. The Stanley can get past the weapons detection, but a spoon cannot. And
Interesting.
I feel like you could do a lot of damage with a Stanley mug.
It's
Yep.
like the sunglasses
Yeah.
case
Especially
at
if you have a
Disney.
big one.
Mm-hmm. I had to get a new bag for the school year. I mean, I had a cute backpack from Amazon and I really liked it because it had all the pockets and everything. And I didn't like having just like a big tote bag with nothing inside where everything just gets dumped in and lost. And so I had to go back to that old tote method. And it's a cute little canvas tote and it was like $4 at Marshall's and it has no zippers, so I can get past the weapons detection. They're not metal detectors; they're weapon detectors. I don't know. They're very clear about that. Um, but yeah, the four things that absolutely cannot go through them are binders, laptops, umbrellas, and glasses,
Hmm.
Kind of like Disney.
like eyeglasses. Yeah, kind of like Disney. It is weird every day, but we've gotten used to it. And at least it helped us at least that one time this school year. But if you wanted to just go run around the track, especially like after school when there are no kids
Mm-hmm.
on campus anymore, I think that would be fine. And it's all gated. Like there's a
Mm-hmm.
fence around it. So
Yeah, we have a
I
middle
guess,
school down the street from me, and that's
yeah,
the track I use when I want to run, like, specifically on a
nice.
measured track.
I was thinking about that. I was like, maybe I should go because there's like a local high school in the town where I live, and it is like 5 minutes away. And I thought about working there, but then I didn't. So, but I do like not having, like, I'm not a teacher in my town that I live in. And I like that because I can go to Kroger in my pajamas and I know that I'm not going to run into a student. So I could go run around their track at their high school and I know that I'm not going to run into anybody. So I've thought about doing it.
It's a good option.
But I really got to get back to the rock climbing gym. I really got to go back there.
Let us know how that goes. It sounds like it'll be
I
fun.
know. Yeah. Maybe next week.
Yeah.
Because after this wedding this weekend, I'll go back there. It was really fun.
Well, I know this episode was a little more serious and probably a lot less fun, / there's a lot less laughing on our part going on in this episode, but we just wanted to bring you a little bit of a shorter episode this week and focus on a topic that we all find to be very important. And we want you guys all to enjoy your activities and stay safe doing it.
Yeah, especially as the weather's getting cooler. Gonna want to go out and make sure you can continue to enjoy it. And this is funny
Mm-hmm.
because I believe by the time this drops, it's going to be back in the 90s where I live.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
and like it's already
Ugh.
projected to be hot AF. However,
Yeah.
there's the
No.
aspiration of the cooler weather. It's coming.
Yeah. And the sun will continue to will continue to have shorter days. So we can't stop that. It is a
Oh,
coming.
that part makes me sad.
Ugh.
You know what? To end things on a little bit more positive of a note, after a sweaty summer of running, I washed my hydration vest.
Woo!
Ew.
So I okay, so
Good
I
job.
washed
I'm
I
so
washed the
proud.
bladder more frequently, but like
But the actual
the fabric part. Um
Hannah and I had really opposite reactions to that. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
like I was like a little like wipey wipe down, but like this was a like I took it apart. I hand wash because when like hand
Oh.
wash like I like yeah I, like wipe it down, but like
You deep
no,
cleaned
we deep
that.
cleaned,
Yes.
like because I hand wash it in my sink, with a little bit
You can really see everything that comes out of it when you do
absolutely
that.
foul. Actually, this time it wasn't that bad because it really hadn't been that long. Because I took a little hiatus from using the hydration vest, in this later spring this year, so, I had actually had to get back into using it. So it was cleaned in between those periods of time. So it probably wasn't like that bad. But if you haven't cleaned your hydration vest in a minute, now is the time. And I'm sure somebody is like, "Oh my god, you nasty! Like, how are you not doing this weekly?" Okay, again, I'm doing the bladder, like the part touches my mouth, like where the water I drink it from. That's getting cleaned like all the time. It's just more like doing like a deeper clean, like more than like a baby wipe to it or like a wipe to it, of like hand washing. And if it's fine, I'll expose myself to for the good of mankind. Um,
I honestly don't think it's that gross.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not
it
that bad.
obviously it does. After a while, you are sweating. It is dirt is building up and things grow and that happens, but it it's a layer that's like 3 separate from your actual body. It takes a lot longer for that to get to a point where it's not okay.
it's not okay. True.
Yeah, Austin had one of those hydration backpacks for hiking,
Hmm.
and he hadn't used it for a long time. And
Did
I
you
think it
leave
was
stuff
just,
in the bladder?
oh, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it just kind of got tucked away in the attic. Like we moved it from the apartment to here and like forgot about it. And I think we found it randomly over the summer or sometime recently, and it was so disgusting. He didn't even feel upset. It went straight into the trash. He was like, this is gross. But he had two, so he's fine. He has his other one. And that one is clean and newer. I don't even know if it's been used yet, so
Ugh. Yum, yum,
Yeah.
yum.
Mm.
Maybe like also like some like gear type related things is as we are getting closer and closer to our racing seasons, start evaluating your shoes. If you haven't changed
I
shoes
need
in a
shoes.
exactly, because you want to have some time to break them in. Well, so it's more about breaking your foot into the shoe IMO, but making sure that they work for you, etc. So it's time to start
Mhm.
doing a little tread check, kind of a little gut check too after you do your run. Like, oh wow, like my knees don't ever really hurt and they hurt this time. Did I do monster mega hills, or is it that like these shoes are old as heck?
Mhm.
So again, kind of like as you are kind of doing a fall clean, like, I guess washing away summer, which makes me sad. But, start thinking about doing that kind of stuff where, clean that hydration vest, get things, especially again, if you're training for the marathon like we are, runs are only going to get longer from here on out. Happy last snow back to back, Hannah. At least following Galloway.
Mm.
But happy last week of that. But stuff like, it should start getting into, you know, getting into the zone, getting into that aspect of things, start, if you're not fueling already, okay,
Start
yeah, start
experimenting.
experimenting. If
Okay, I need to do that.
Maybe that should be our next episode since it's like you need to get on
Ooh.
top of it. Maybe
yeah,
we should talk about the brands, what type is out there, give you a recap of what all of our favorites are.
oh,
We'll bring Caitlin into the fold because Caitlin needs to get on it.
true that,
Yes, I
true
do.
that.
Well, yeah, you guys have gotten me onto the whole like you need to have different shoes. And my physical therapist was like, "Yeah, these shoes are." I brought him the shoes that I wore for Princess, and he was like, "This is what you ran in? Are you crazy?" So, yeah. And I was like, maybe I should just get. I think I need a new pair for the marathon specifically. And I've been trying to Google things like best marathon shoe. So I know you guys probably know all
we'll
about it.
we'll have some chat
Yeah,
offline and then we'll decide if
Right.
that's something we want to bring on for everyone
Right,
else.
right.
true.
Yes. And I am morally opposed to the Amazon, but I think I might be purchasing some stuff there, like some fuel
Oh, that's fine.
and
Don't
one
buy
of
your shoes on
those.
Yeah,
Amazon.
Oh, no, never.
Purely
I would
because of the
not buy the
return
shoes.
situation.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm going to Feet Fleet or I went to Dick's Sporting Goods for my ghosts. But
If it's a shoe you're confident in that you've like it's the same model and everything and you're just buying a repeat, that's not the end of the world. But I would always go
right.
to a Feet Fleet or to a place that you
Yes.
know has like a 30-day return policy. That way if there's something finicky about that specific shoe, not about the model or whatever, but maybe there's a manufacturing defect or there's something not quite right, you can return it and get a different pair and there won't be any issues. And
Right.
Brooks
I
in
mean, I
general, if
haven't
you buy directly from them, they also give you that.
I bought my glycerins directly from Brooks,
Hmm.
and they were really on sale. And I haven't worn them in a race. Oh, that's Boomer. Sorry. But I haven't worn my glycerins, I think, in a race yet. So I think I might do that for like this local half and maybe like wine and dine. But definitely for the full marathon, I really need to look into getting a different pair. So I'll definitely be hitting up my local Feet Fleet for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely
Mm-hmm.
still wear your glycerins or a ghost or whatever works for you. Like, you don't have to buy. Granted, Ben and I both run in a carbon plated shoe we did for our marathon, and I plan to do it again. But
That's what it
if
was.
it's
The
not
carbon
comfortable for
plated
you
shoe.
or if it doesn't work for you, there's no reason you can't wear your normal shoe that you would wear for any other race, assuming that you don't discover any issues with that shoe when you get to those longer distances.
Trial and error, trial and error.
Yep.
With being a third of the way through the training program, though, just another spook for you. Now is the time to kind of start honing in on a lot of stuff.
Yep. We got, what did I say at the beginning? We have
20.
120
20.
days to figure it out.
Ah,
Get on it.
And like,
Yikes.
hopefully you figured it out like before that point. Like, I would say we probably are at the 100-day point to like figure it out, because
Oh,
that's
for
around
sure.
when
You better have it
you're
figured out before.
your dress rehearsal, like your last like long run, your last simulation, etc., is about at that like
It's almost a month out. So yeah.
yeah. Oh God, that's only 100 days away. Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Ah, we started spooky series early. Oh man. And like mine went fine last year with my, well, except no, not my 20, not my 8.5 and 20. Those didn't go so fine. But like my longest, my penultimate didn't go well, but my ultimates did. Except for when I fell during the time. Whatever. Anyway, but like it's still like the concept of like playing the waiting game in the Midwest with the weather and like the wind. Oh my God, it'd be fine if it weren't for the wind, you know. So I'm not ready for that. But that's okay, because this is only week 10 going into 11. So, you know, like I don't need to be ready to do 23 yet. I need to be ready to do what's on my training plan now. Just making sure you're forward focused, right? And I will leave you with this thought as I'm in busy season of, you know, I got to get through year end, right? But that doesn't mean I'm not like thinking of how things can go better for next year and how like things I want to do for next year. My boss would be proud of me.
Forward thinking. At my company, we call that self-actualization.
We'll go with that.
Well, I think that's an episode. If you enjoy listening to our show, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We love reading your reviews out loud. You might even be featured on a future podcast episode. Thanks again for listening. Until our next adventure, we're wishing you endless miles of magic and memories. See you next time.